Okay, the time has come to review the Atari 2600 PolyVox. It's a Brazilian made Atari system under license. I purchased this faulty, very unconventional on the insides, and it's not your standard. I didn't have any service manual or anything to work from, but I do have to give a big thank you to Victor Trusco. He's also a Brazilian who has one of these and has worked on these, and a lot of the information to help me repair it came from him. In fact, I think he's the guy who actually did the pause mod circuit board. He's the one who did that using an Onyx Junior. So there's a lot of thanks goes out to him for a lot of his work. So first thing to do is this particular one is a Rev D. It's a revision D. Revision Ds are slightly different to some of the other revisions. The first difference you will see, I'll show you quickly, is the lack of difficulty switches. There are no difficulty switches installed on there. The reason behind that, I have no idea, but the Rev Cs, the Rev Bs and the Rev As did have them. From what I understand, an Atari PolyVox went up to a revision F, from what I understand, but I may be wrong. The other thing it had as well is it had a hard-wired power supply in there. So there's a power supply that was screwed down at this point inside, and it was hardwired to the board. There was no board. There was no 2600 power supply that was separate, with which you plug in as you would normally do. Now, during my repairs, I decided to put the power plug on. So now it will accept a standard Atari 2600 power port, rather than being hardwired. Plus, you know, I mean, wrapping the wire around it was a bit annoying, just like people used to do with the AV lead. Something I didn't want to do. So that was the first thing. Second thing I did, with the help of Victor Trusco, is to actually, after repairing it obviously, was to actually physically AV mod it. Again, the AV mod on this I've never been able to do if it wasn't for Victor, because it's completely different. You know, I mean, the style of it and everything, really different. And it comes with a contrast knob. Now, with respect to when Victor did his, he left his contrast knob inside the machine. So he just set it, and that is it. Set it and left it. Well, with me, I found a few games needed the contrast adjusting after you plug it in. Now, I'll just show you the AV mod and the contrast. The way I did it was to do this, the deluxe, the super deluxe as I like to call it, AV mod, using the 3.5mm jack. And there's the the contrast, so it's just on the outside, so you can mess with that as you need to when you need to. So that's that there. So there we are. So that's the Atari PolyVox. The other thing as well is that when this arrived broken, unfortunately. It got kicked about by Hermes, unfortunately, so it did break. Now, the seller I bought it off, Anthony Finch, a very lovely guy, Atari Attic. He offered to give me a partial refund. He sent me a game for free as well, and also he sent me a new case for it. Now, you're probably seeing that I've not used a new case. The reason why I didn't use a new case is because it was a Woody. Now, yes, the Woody looks great and it's awesome and it's quite retro, and Woody is what people like. But I was in one of those scenarios. What do I do? Do I use the Woody? Do I repair this? Because the Woody was not the same one. This is actually what we call a Dark Vader. But it's not a Dark Vader. This is how PolyVox was. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I wanted to keep it as original as I possibly could. Because one of the reasons as well was this. You can get close up on it. There we go. It clearly says Atari PolyVox Industria Brasilia, so it's the original serial sticker. And I didn't want to peel it off and transfer it, you know what I mean, keep it the same. So I did some extensive repairs on the casing. I'll use the other casing at some point, but the brake was there. You can't really tell. Let me get it in the light. I've got a lamp here with me, so you can't really tell. Well, you can sort of, but it's not too bad. And the other brake was across there. That corner had completely shed off, so done a pretty good job there. So that's that there. So you know, I mean, I wanted to keep it to the original. The other reason was as well was these little studs. There's little studs on here, plastic rubber studs. There we go. Now I couldn't get those off. Tried and tried and tried. I could not get them off. They're on there. So again, you know, I mean, changing over, I didn't want to lose those. There was one on there as well because obviously it was a hardwired power supply, and I couldn't get that one off either. I actually literally had to cut that off with a knife, the rubber, which meant I lost, you know, I mean, I had to lose it and throw it out, which was quite a shame. But you know, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. So why don't we do this and let's get it fired up. So we plug in our AV jack, our special one, plug that in, beautiful, and we plug in our power supply, because now it takes a standard Atari power supply. If I can get my hands on it, there we are. So we plug that in, so that's our Atari power supply, and that just plugs in there. There we go. Let's switch it on. Now let's pop in a NTSC game. So let's pop the game in. On colour, and we'll switch it on. Now, as you can see, there's no colour. Well, no contrast, should I say. Oh, by the way, you know, I mean, before I go into the contrast, I forgot to say the reason why that was so loud and so crisp is because this Atari is also being stereo modded, and I'm just going to show you the stereo mod. I'm going to switch it off. I'm going to unplug the right. So we've unplugged the right. Now let's unplug the left and plug in the right. Do it again. No sound at the moment, and there's a perfectly good reason for that. Plug that back in. So at the moment, this particular game, you know, I think we've almost all guessed what it is, but this particular game uses only left. Some games will simulate stereo, and I will show you a game that does simulate stereo. Didn't realise this game didn't, so let's get on with the sorting out the contrast. So all you have to do for the contrast is that little knob there. You just got to turn it. So I'm going to go back to the screen, and we'll turn it while we're on the screen. And there we have it. So depending on how much you want to turn it, see how dark it's going. See, it's gone black all the way this way. It's gone white. Just turn it and just get the colour. Just set the colour right to where it needs to be, and that is it. Now the reason why I left that knob on the outside is I like that colour. That's a good colour, but it's not a good colour for all games, and that's the next part that we're going to show you. So I'm going to turn that off, and we're going to pop in our next game and pop that in. Now that's Golf. Now with Golf, I like to turn it a bit more and just set it just a little bit more. So that's why having it on the outside was better. Now this one does simulate stereo, so let's simulate stereo. Okay, so I've just unplugged the left. Okay, and we're watching it. So the left is unplugged at the moment. Wait for it. There. No sound. We didn't get no sound. Now let me plug the right in again. Now we've got the right in. Now there we have it. See, it's stimulating right. So you blow up on your left. Your asteroids go on your right. Plug them both in now. Now you got the full lot. Let's go again. So now we've got them both plugged in. And there we have it. See now that, so that's simulating stereo really well. So that's stereo sound for you. This is quite good, I think. Personally, I think it's quite cool. having it that way, and it goes really well. So that's left and right. So stereo modded. Now I can actually stereo mod any NTSC Atari. The reason why I say NTSC only and not PAL is because PAL does not have stereo mode built into it. NTSC does, it's just a case of tapping from them. That's the only difference. Also, my trademark pink LED. Now, you're thinking it's quite light. Yes, it is. It's a pink LED, but I've made it quite light because the other one I thought it was really flaring in your eyes, and it was quite bright. So I've dimmed it down a little bit. It's no big deal. It's just a resistor. I've just used a higher value resistor just to dim it down a little bit. If you want it brighter, I can make it brighter. That's not a problem. So anyone who wants a mod done, specify your brightness on the LED, and I can do that. At the moment, I've got 680 in there, which I think is nice because it's only an indicator. You only will need to really know it's on. The camera's not really picking up. The camera's, you know, I mean, to me, looking at the camera screen, it looks like it's blue, but it's not. It is actually pink in reality. So you can see that the light is pink and that it is on. Turn it off, and you can see that it has gone off. Turn it on, you can see it's gone on. So you only want to indicate on or off really, and just be able to see the colour. The other one was just way too bright. In fact, the previous one I did was for David, who will also be getting this Atari PolyVox. If you want the resistor a little dimmer on that previous one, then I'll send you a 680 resistor and just switch them out. Cut the old one off and solder the new one in. If you're not confident enough to do it, then I can send you the whole pre-made wire if you need to, and then all you do is you just solder it on those 2 points that you saw it was on before. When it tore off the last time you did it, I can send you a fully completed LED if you want. You just switch them out because these pop off. The good thing about these LEDs is they will just pop out. They're on a little special holder, which makes them look good as well. So that's one. I'm also working on another one for David, believe it or not. Can't believe he did this. I am absolutely surprised and gutted that he could do such blasphemy to such a beautiful machine. Actually, I'll leave the machine over there. I'll run just this board out. He was trying to do an AV mod on his own. Let's see if you can guess what he's done. Yep, indeed. He's cut all those off. He cut them off, although I've desoldered them. I mean, I've desoldered them ready for the new ones. I've ordered them, so I put them all on. So I put the new ones on, and also you got a couple of broken traces there which need repair. That's not a problem. I can repair those. But another thing as well I did for him, I was feeling bored. The components haven't arrived. I was feeling bored and I needed something to do. Seriously, I've modified so many Ataris and I do them so quickly that I don't know what to do. So I decided to fix his switches, and look at that click on them. That one was really bad. This one is your difficulty for player 1, and that was really bad. You couldn't even hear the click on it. The power switch was a little bit off. Sorted that out. But yeah, they're all clicking. They've got a nice click, and they've had a good clean as well inside. So they're all clicking nicely. So I took them all apart, moved them, put them all back together again. All sorted, all working well. So there we have it. Checked out the board, reflowed it. The other thing as well is I've also done as well, I was feeling bored. I know I haven't even repaired it yet, but I still decided to do the AV mod. So got the AV connectors on there already. Everything's all done. The AV mod board's on there. That's the AV mod board. It just needs to be wired up to the main board there. I've got it all dismantled at the moment because I'm still working on it. But it needs to be repaired. Just look at it. You know what I mean? That is a crisp 2600 there. Let me just switch that lamp back on. There we have it. That is a really good looking 2600. You know, you can't get rid of that. You know, I mean, I noticed just there. Can you see just there? That is the only flaw that this Atari has. Only flaw. You know, apart from that, this Atari is mint. Well, alright, there is one more flaw, but I'm going to fix that. If we just have a look, let me get it in the light actually. Right there. See that there? Right there, that's the only other flaw on this Atari. Apart from that, this Atari is mint. Alright, well, you got that there, so I don't know who wrote that. But you got that there, but that's easily, I can clean that. But I've got a remedy for that one there. And basically all I'm going to do there is use that little mark as my drill point to put an LED. So I'll just put the LED right over the top of it, and that's it. You won't never see that again. And I'm rabbiting on too much, so I think we should call this video a day. I think, you know, I mean, I showed you the main thing of this, what I wanted to show. And my next video I will be showing off my homemade pause mod, AV and pause mod, which I did on one of my Ataris. So I'll be showing off that next on the next video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and keep Atari alive. Brilliant machines they are.